Welcome to the Empower Room. I'm your host, Rev.T, and hope you're having a wonderful Sunday afternoon. And we're glad to be with you this afternoon and pray that all is well with you and family and friends. And hope that I know in different parts of the country, the temperature or the weather is different. And pray that you're somewhere safe and sound and in a warm place. All right, so we want to again welcome you to the Empower Room, and I'm your host, Rev.T. And let's get ready to do something.
Welcome to the Empower Room for Empowering Moments with your host, Timothy Hughes. Empowering Moments is brought to you by Empower Media LLC, where we empower you, parents, and the entire community with transformative information to move mind and spirit to a higher state of well-being. So welcome to the Empower Room, and let's get started.
All right, we want to again welcome you to the Empower Room. I'm your host, Reverend Timothy Hughes, in Div, and we ask that you please like our page, send an emoji, leave a comment, share, and follow us. Please subscribe to us as well. We do have a page on YouTube as well, so we ask that you will go ahead and subscribe with us as well. We're trying to boost our viewership. So we really appreciate that. If you would assist us with that and share with other folks, we have a very exciting lineup for 2022 that I think a lot of you will be empowered by. All right. So Empower Media LLC is a social empowerment entity, and we empower community through social, digital, book publishing, programs, and special speaking engagements as well. We have over 25 years of experience, and our website is empowermediallc1.com. As you can see, it is a play on words spelled MPWR Media LLC1.com. All right, and the purpose of Empowering Moments, which we do twice a month, is to promote Empower Media LLC by sharing cultural, civic, and inspirational moments with special guests we have on most occasions from all over the world. We have been blessed to have folks as far as Germany and Ghana, West Africa on our show. So I've really been blessed to have some wonderful guests from all over the world. And we cover a variety of different topics, and we have panels, and sometimes we do have guests, sometimes we don't have guests. And as on today, I will be your guest, Rev.T. All right, and want to share some information with you on today. And as I stated, we also have publications, and we have a book that shares the story of a testimony that relates to my experience back on February 14, 2014. And the name of the book is In the Blink of an Eye, an Out of This World Experience. And it's available for purchase on Amazon.com. It has blessed a lot of people who have purchased the book thus far. We've been attempting to do book signings, but due to COVID, we have hesitated to do book signings. Live book signings, where we're able to be there and share the book and sign and that type of thing. So we do have another virtual book signing that we have lined up for February. I believe it's the third Saturday in February, and we'll have more information in regard to that date as we get a little bit closer, where we will actually provide a virtual book signing, which is unique in itself. There's like a testimonies of folks who have read the book, along with some folks that share some musical selections, if you will. So it's very, very different, I think, from most book signings. But we make it lively, and it's will be for about an hour on the third Saturday is our date that we're looking at in February. We'll have to firm that up where we have some things going on personally that we want to make sure that that date doesn't conflict. So that is the plan, third Saturday. But I will let you know probably within the next week or two whether that date will be the same, or if we may need to move that date for the next virtual book signing. Again, thank you for those who have purchased the book, who have shared the book with your friends and family. It shares my story of me having out of body experience, if you will, from having a sudden death heart attack on February 14, 2014, taking my wife out for Valentine's Day. All right, so it's really been a blessing, and again, thank you all for those who have purchased the book so far. All right, so today's dialogue, the topic, if you haven't heard, is where do we go from here? Where do we go from here is a concern of Empower Media LLC, and that relates to, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the vote that took place earlier this week in regard to the voting rights bills that were before the Senate. And we know what happened in regard to those bills that did not pass due to the lack of going to uh, try to filibuster with two of the senators on the Democratic side. So, with that, there were a lot of people who had been protesting, a lot of people who had went to jail, a lot of people who marched, a lot of people who did a variety of things. Mr. Joe Madison, I want to definitely lift him up for the sacrifice that he did for actually, it ended up being about 74 days of a hunger strike that he participated, that he actually did as a way of calling attention to the importance of the voting rights bill being passed. So he did end the fast regarding the hunger strike he was on as related to the Voting Rights Act. And I want to thank all those who also joined in with him. There were college students, there were other ministers, pastors that joined in. I believe one of his sons also joined in with them on the hunger strike as well. And I want to thank him for his sacrifice for what he did in regard to the importance of needing to see that bill pass. But as we all know, unfortunately, that did not happen. So, my question is, where do we go from here? I've heard a lot of commentators saying the same thing from Roland Martin's show, from Joe Madison's show, from Joe Reed's show, from a variety of different shows and different various news outlets asking where do we go from here. So I wanted to engage and give you a little piece of something I'm working on. Is one of the presentations I was sharing is one of the parts of what Empower does. So I've been working on this presentation. I would just want to share pieces of it with you today to prayerfully engage in conversation in regard to where do we go from here? What do we do? And a voice that still speaks to me today, and I know it speaks to a lot of us who we celebrated on this past Monday, was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And if you have not obtained the book, Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community, I highly recommend that you get this book. It is a must have. It's an excellent book as we have entered into 2022 that I recommend that you read, share with your families, share with your friends, your co-workers, your fraternities, sororities, social groups you may be a part of, political action groups you may be a part of. When I read this book just a few years back, I was just taken back by what Dr. King had thought of in regard to the African American experience in America. And every page has a phenomenal nugget, a word of wisdom, a thought provoking thought just about on every page of this book. So, again, the name of the book is Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community? Author Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I highly recommend this book to you on today. And just to kind of share a little bit of presentation, this is, I guess you can say, a sneak peek of what we offer. And if you're interested in learning more about the presentations that Empower Media offers, you're more than welcome to reach out to us at our website, again, which is Empower Media, LLC1.com. All right. So the first the slide I wanted to share with you is a quote in the book that says, "Love and power are usually contrasted as polar opposites. Love is identified with a resignation of power, and power with a denial of love." Let me read that again. Love and power are usually contrasted as polar opposites. Love is identified with the resignation of power, and power with a denial of love. I don't know about you, but that speaks to me today in regard to what we're experiencing as a country, as a nation at this time, especially looking at the what happened with the voting rights bills that did not pass. And there appears, in my opinion, to be a struggle with power and love. And the contrast is so vivid, in my opinion, in regard to what are experiencing today. All right. So, what are your thoughts? Let me know what you're thinking. Send me a comment. Hit me on our email or Facebook page, whatever. Let us know on YouTube. Let me know what your thoughts are. What do you think? All right. So let's go to the next another slide. In America, power is unequally distributed. In America, power is unequally distributed. Again, these are snippets that I share in my presentation. Where do we go from here? Chaos of Community, that is from the book of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Where do we go from here? Chaos or community? And again, the quote is, in America, power is unequally distributed. Again, I think this is another important nugget of wisdom to think about as we navigate what we're experiencing with, in example, to the critical race theory, which is really a not a real reality, but it's amazing how it has picked up momentum for something that doesn't even exist. Yes, it does not exist. It's not a true reality of something that is taught in the schools. It's taught in a law school for a specific class for a specific purpose, but not in your traditional public school system, elementary, middle, or high school system. Nowhere near is there anything taught in regard to this theory at all. Now, history, that's a different story. Black history in some schools are taught and some are not, depending on what district that you're in, I'm sure. All right. So there is a difference, but it's amazing how there are school boards and various other government entities that are creating these laws to prevent something that doesn't exist. All right. Let's move on from there. Okay. So let's go to the next slide. I found this very interesting in relation to the African American experience. And I wanted to just share this with you as well. Let's see. So it says 5 steps for training slaves. Again, this is thoughts of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. from the book, Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community? First step, strict discipline, unconditional submission. Second step, implant a conscious of personal inferiority, convinced that African ancestry tainted them. Colored color was a badge of degradation. Number three, the master has enormous power. Four, persuade the slave to take on interest in the master's enterprise and accept his standard of good conduct. Impress upon them their helplessness to create, and then a habit, a perfect dependence upon their master. I'm sure that's what it says at the end of that. And then number the perfect slave, black power is the result of the perfect slave. Black power is the result of the perfect slave. So through all that of attempting to do those various things in those steps, what came out of that was something opposite to what was institutionalized or the atmosphere created or uh, mindset attempted to be created a sense of black power. So it's like a backfire, if you will, in regard to the result of these steps that Dr. Martin Luther King exhibits in his book. Where do we go from here? Chaos or community? So you see why you need to get this book. Hello, please make sure you get this book, and I highly recommend this for our educators to get this book. And it really should be a staple in every school, in my opinion. That's just me. All right, let's go to the next one. Freedom is not given, it is won. Freedom is won by a struggle against suffering. Freedom is not won by a passive acceptance of suffering. Again, freedom is not given, it is won. Freedom is won by a struggle against suffering. Freedom is not won by a passive acceptance of suffering. And that's powerful. I know there are people who may have thrown up their hands in regard to cinema and mansions uh, stopping the passing of the Civil Rights Bill along with the Republican Party in its entirety. But we have to continue to fight nonviolently for the struggle of freedom. We have to continue this fight because it's not going to come with us, just doing nothing, just sitting back, letting other people do it, thinking all we have to do is pray. I believe in prayer, but I believe it also requires action as well with our prayer. Amen. We're going to have to do some work. We're going to have to make this happen, as we can see as it relates to the civil rights movement and where we are today. It didn't happen just through prayer. We all have seen and know what has happened with the marches, with the going and boycotting and all the various tools that were used to get us to the point that we are today. And I am blessed to have reaped the benefits of the civil rights movement because I am of the generation that received the benefits of the civil rights movement in a sense where I did not experience the things that my parents experienced. Thanks to the civil rights movement, I'm able to work where I am able to work. It's not based on the color of my skin like it would have been prior to. I'm able to live where I want to live, which is not based on the color of my skin like the way it used to be. Of course, there's still some issues going on, but it is a whole lot better. I'm able to go to school where I want to go to school, travel, you name it, get health care, all those type of things are more accessible to us than they have ever been. And we have advanced from where we were prior to 1965, 63, 64, so on and so forth. But it was a struggle. It didn't come easily. It wasn't a passive a process. And we have to continue being on this journey again, non-violently, but being on this journey and doing what we need to do to make sure that our children will be able to continue to reap the benefits that we have received and even more. All right. So that's me talking. All right. So I just wanted to give you all just a piece of this, and then this is going to be a little this next one's going to be a little tough. So you need to hold on to your seat. Some of you might get a little upset about this, especially my Christian brothers and sisters, especially my pastoral friends, but you need to hear it. Amen. Here we go. So the church must acknowledge its guilt. I'm just going to let that sit for a minute. So the church must acknowledge its guilt. Its weak and vacillating witness, its all too frequent failure to be true to its mission. If the church does not recapture its prophetic zeal, it will become an irrelevant social club without moral or spiritual authority. Again, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., where do we go from here? Chaos or community? So, with us being in this pandemic, on a variety of different Facebook Live, YouTube, church services, and hearing a variety of different pastors preach. And I did not hear one pastor mention anything about this past lack of passing of the voting rights bill in the Senate. I'm gonna just let that sit right there. Now I hear you, but these bills affect our social environment. They affect our congregations. They affect black and brown people, veterans, those with disabilities, more so than, in fact, to be honest, they affect everyone because voting rights is available to everyone, no matter how you slice it. So we should be making sure our voices are heard to make sure that righteousness is always above power and doing the right thing. So again, I want to thank those that fought the good fight in regard to those that were protesting through the various ways that they protested and worked so hard in regard to trying to make sure that these bills passed, the voting rights bills passed. Mr. Joe Madison, the civil rights activists and humanitarians throughout the country, those that were on hunger strikes, the various organizations that were on the ground protesting and marching and going to Arizona, going to West Virginia. Thank you for your service. Thank you for all that you have done. And we must continue to do what we need to do to make sure that uh, we obtain voting rights for every person, every American, period, dot. And I want to leave you with this last quote. For the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. And I know that we want to get things done. We want it done now and all that. But look how far we've come from whence we came here in 1619, and we must continue the fight. So I want to lift up these action plans, if you will. Make sure that you're voting in your local and primary, primary and midterm elections. The midterms, as I hope that all of you are aware, is very important because it can make a difference on who may have control of the Senate. So we will be engaging in presentations regarding that up until the midterm elections, which I believe are in November. We do have primaries coming up as well here in Texas, I think within the next couple of months. So we'll be engaged in that as well as far as making sure my vote is heard and working with organizations here. Also, organize to get more people to the polls. We already know what's happening with the voter suppression efforts that are taking place across the country. Let's make sure we're organized to make sure we combat that from happening. And also, if you notice from the two presidential elections, the majority were for, uh, although the first election with Trump and Clinton, Clinton had the majority of the vote, but Trump won the electoral. But here, Biden won the majority in the electoral. So we need to make sure that we're handling our business. We are voting, and we need to make sure that we come out in such a way that there will be no disputing of any numbers at all because we just showed up and showed out. Okay? And let's continue to protest peacefully throughout our various locations, our cities, our counties, our states, or in DC as well. And let's be information gatherers for our family and friends in our community. That could be not everyone. Not everyone has access to cable. Not everyone is up on the news of what's happening. Not everyone keeps up with the daily updates of what's going on in regard to bills being passed and all that type of thing. So be that person that provides that information for those in your family, your friends, your community, and all that, because everyone is not aware like they used to be. Because if you remember, we used to have local television that was free. We don't have that anymore. Everything's cableized. So with that, not everyone has access to everyday communication of the news. For example, for the 5 o'clock news, 10 o'clock news, early in the morning news, like we used to. So I think it's important that we make sure that we are providing information to those that may not have that access and are using other forms of media to keep informed. Okay. All right. So that's just a little taste of a presentation that is provided through Empower Media. It goes more in depth. We have other points within this presentation. I just thought I'd share a little bit with you all today. And feel free to go to our website. You'll be able to see more of the presentations that we provide through Empower Media, and pray that this has been a blessing to you. Please share this presentation with your friends and family, and join us again. We'll be back in a couple of weeks on Sunday. We do this at 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, every other week, at least twice a month. So we try to do our best to keep you posted on when the next show will be coming up and what the topic will be. So feel free to keep in contact with us again. You're able to reach us at Empower Media LLC, and we hope that you will reach out to us and let us know if there's anything we can do for you. Again, our website is empowermediallc1.com for more information. And again, please, you can, what is it? You can download the book, to your Kindle ebook or to your whatever, and read it off your phone. Where do we go from here? Chaos or community? This is a phenomenal book that does not get the attention it deserves, and I guarantee you it will be uplift to you, especially with what we are experiencing right now, and to help keep you encouraged and to give you some foundation, if you will, on what we need to do in the future. I feel. All right. So pray this has been a blessing to you all today. Thank you for being with Rev.T in the Empower Room, and we look forward to being with you all again in a couple of weeks. And again, reach out to us if you have any concerns. You can leave us a email. Our phone number is also on the website as well, and we'll be more than happy to get back with you if you're interested in a presentation of any of the presentations that you see on the menu. Also, customized presentations for specific concerns as well, and we'll be able to sit down with you and work on something for you that way as well. All right. All right. So you all have a blessed rest of your Sunday. Let's continue to fight the good fight and hang on in there. Everything's going to be all right because God said it is, because we already have the victory. We already have the victory. All right. We just need to let other folk know we had the victory. All right. All right. All right. So y'all have a blessed one. God bless you. Thank you so much for being with us in the Empower Room. Pray you have a blessed Sunday, blessed rest of the week, and we see you in 2. God bless.
Thank you for joining us in the Empower Room. Hope you have received some impactful information. Please like or leave a comment. See you next week in the Empower Room, brought to you by Empower Media LLC and your host, Reverend Timothy Hughes, aka Rev.T.